there's some seasonality back and forth when it comes to politics. Obviously, Donald Trump had a big win, and he got his budget bill passed. I think within a year, you'll see the effects of that budget bill, and you'll see Democrats saying, this is really hammering working families and the middle class, and you'll see the political tides twist and turn.
New York City is turned upside down. I look in the Connecticut Mirror, CT Mirror conversation with you. You say that Mr. Mamdani ran a hell of a race. His folks is the arch progressive running for mayor of New York after a victory over Governor Cuomo and others. How should centrist Democrats respond to a generational change?
Look, I think that he did run a brilliant campaign, and we got a lot to learn from, especially guys my age. Look what he did in terms of social media. Young people hadn't voted for a long time. They don't often vote in primaries, and they often don't vote in the cities, and they sure as heck voted. So credit where credit's due. Look, he and I have very different styles, but at the end of the day, I've got a universal pre-K, a down payment there, prenatal education, doing everything we can to make it easier for people to get ahead in life and make life a little more affordable. So there we have a lot in common, but we have different styles.
Governor, President Trump obviously has a great skill at just, commanding the narrative here and just kind of taking in terms of other folks, maybe taking a lot of the oxygen out of the room. What do the Democrats need to do from a messaging standpoint heading into the midterm elections?
Look, he's got a very loud voice, sort of herky-jerky every day. It changes, but he dominates the landscape. Very tough for, me as a governor when you just don't know what the budget's going to be one day to the next, what the tariffs are going to be. It's tough to invest and make long-term commitments there. I think the Democrats have just got to be clear as day. We're fighting for the middle class. We believe in bottom up. We believe in this state of Connecticut. We've had more new small business startups than ever before. And those are a lot of small businesses starting up on Whaley Avenue in New Haven. And I think that's how you grow wealth. And I think that's how you get our cities back to life. And I think that's how you fight for working families and the middle class.
Governor, it seems like for both parties, perhaps, the extreme right, the extreme left seems to be driving the politics for each of those parties. Is there even a center left for either party or both parties?
It's getting smaller because I'm there, and you're right. I think after Donald Trump's election, the Republicans are a lot less likely to want to talk to me. I always had a big table and an open door, and a lot of people looked at me and said, "God, it looks a little like a Republican." And the Democrats are sort of really fighting Trump every day, and if you don't go after him on a daily basis, you're sort of being weak in terms of your principles. So you're right, the middle's getting very small, and that's not a good thing for America.
Ned Lamont with us from Connecticut. We continue. We welcome all of you across the nation and certainly in the Bloomberg 1130 area here. An interesting conversation of Republicans and Democrats in the summer of 2025. Governor Lamont, Bloomberg wrote this up on Paul Tudor Jones, noted hedge fund dude, exiting to Palm Beach, Florida. There's a fear in the tri-state area, and frankly, there's a fear in Boston and Washington that with adverse policy, that migration will continue. How have you tried to respond to fancy people in Greenwich as they climb on their Hinckley picnic boat and head south? How have you responded to that threat?
Tom, I think twofold. One, we were raising taxes on a every other year basis going back 10 years in this state. That hasn't happened on my watch. We haven't raised tax rates. I think that gives people some comfort that we're getting our fiscal house in order and we're not going to balance the budget by raising taxes. And I also tell people, look, this is the state, the town where you grew up. This is where your children or your grandchildren are. You can watch them, on Zoom from Palm Beach. You can be right here with them every day. And it's something to be said for making sure this is a place where you can stay in the community where you grew up and where your family is.
So, Governor, what do you think the future is of this Democratic Party here? How does the Democratic Party regain some momentum, any momentum here? Because it just feels like it has absolutely zero momentum at this point.
I think you're already seeing it happen. I think the Trump budget is going to really impact middle class families. You're going to see what it means in terms of folks getting thrown off of health care. You're going to see what it means in terms of folks not getting the food benefits. We have $50 million of cuts. Just the portal turned off 3 days ago for after school programs. I think this is going to impact middle class families. So right now it's all peaches and cream and tax cuts, but wait till you see how this impacts your everyday life.